Hi Aquarius, welcome to my channel. This is going to be your general love reading from August 19th through the 31st of 2017. If this doesn't resonate with you, please be sure to check your moon and rising sign, and then also your Venus sign and the other person's Mars sign. That can give you kind of a better, well-rounded picture of what's going on. Please keep in mind this is a general reading. There's no way it's going to resonate with everybody, and there's no way that every single part is going to resonate, even if some parts do and some parts don't. Just recognize that the parts that don't are probably not meant for you. It's the parts that do resonate that you are able to take truth from. So just bear that in mind here. It is a general love reading. If you'd like a personal reading from me too, you're welcome to check the description box down below, and that'll tell you how to contact me and what the prices are and what kind of readings I do. And then, I do most readings, but how long they are and all that jazz, all that fun stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to jump into it, and please like and share and subscribe. And if y'all have comments, I definitely love the comments. I try to read all of them. I try to get back to as many as I can, but I definitely love hearing what's going on. It helps me kind of fine-tune to what the cards are saying based on what the general responses that I'm getting. So that helps me kind of hone in on specifically what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to jump into it. The first card that I have for you is the Five of Cups. So this is a feeling of, it's a pretty bitter disappointment. It's something that has put you in a position where you really do feel let down. It could be you or the other person, but I feel like somebody is definitely disappointed about the outcome of a situation. And you'll see with this Five of Cups here, he's got 3 cups that are laying on the ground, and there's 2 that are behind him. They're likely full, the ones that are behind him, but his head is down and he's focused on these ones that have fallen. A lot of readers will call this crying over spilt milk. I don't feel like it's necessarily, I feel like it's kind of minimizing when somebody says crying over spilt milk, though, because at the times that I've had this card pulled, it's a lot of emotional distress. It's not just a little bit. A lot of the time it can be very disappointing, to the point that it's kind of like, for some of you it may be that it's disappointing, it's going to pass, but you have to just get through it right now. It's not, you're not past it yet, so there's no reason you don't need people telling you it's going to be okay, it's going to pass, it's going to get better. I get that they're trying to offer support, but just recognize that you are okay to feel this, to go through it and feel it. I'm sorry that you have to, but it is one of those things that it's just like you'll get past it when you get past it. So I do feel like this could be either you or the other person, but somebody is pretty bitterly disappointed. It is something that is a pretty deep disappointment. Could even be actual tears going on. And then the next card that I have is the Ten of Swords. So this is another heavy duty. This is a very heavy stress card, but it is also a recognition that it's almost like the worst of it's over. So I feel like these go together very, very closely regarding the same type of matter. So it's like this Five of Cups, somebody is definitely crying over, or not necessarily crying, but somebody is in emotional distress over betrayal, or feeling stabbed in the back, or somebody kind of pulling the wool out from under their, like pulling the carpet out from under them. I think it's wool over your eyes, carpet out from under you. I don't know which way it goes. Yeah. You don't pull wool out from under you. That'd be retarded. Unless it was a wool carpet, then it would make sense. But I guess, anyways, so this is somebody who has gone through something that has been pretty heartbreaking. And it's extreme disappointment or extreme stress, or they're extremes. This Ten of Swords, it relays to me something of an extreme nature. Like it's something, but it's also the worst of it is over. You're moving forward toward the completion, but these are really crappy feelings to have. And it could also be that these are underlying, so it may not be how you're appearing to the entire world necessarily. They're just underlying things, like this is what's going on inside. And I feel like with this Ten of Swords, it's an extreme amount of stress, almost to the point of almost like feeling like you're going to have a breakdown. I feel like a lot of people are, I feel like a lot of people are trying to hold it together for the outside world right now, but this is how they're feeling inside, and it's shredding you on the inside. Like it really does hurt for a lot of you. Some of you, this could be a disappointment that is not even related to the relationship, perhaps. It could just be something that's put you in a down mood. Could be financial. But I feel like with this Five of Cups, it's something that is emotional, but it's like this, it's a little bit, again, of the warring between the head and the heart. But both of them are let down. Both of them are disappointed by something, the head and the heart. And then the next card that I have for you is the Six of Pentacles. So we have water and air and earth here. There's also fire. It could be that somebody may be coming into the picture who's offering a give and take. This Five of Cups and this Ten of Swords could be in relation to this same individual who's offering a give and take relationship. The Six of Pentacles is representative of somebody basically who is very well off, and there are hands reaching out for these coins like he's distributing them. So it's like somebody is in charge of who gets what. I feel like in this particular instance here, I feel like this is kind of indicative to me of somebody who offers like crumbs of their affection. Like you may be generally disappointed and stressed out. It could be because somebody is being flaky or somebody's being, you know, disregarding your feelings. But I feel like with the Six of Pentacles, it's coming in, it's like somebody gives you like a crumb of their affection and you're supposed to celebrate, or you know, how kind of you to deign to spend time with me, a commoner. That's kind of feeling that I get. It's like somebody's just like, oh, well, thank you so much for gracing me with your presence. Could be you or the other person, and I don't mean that to be as snarky as it sounds necessarily, but I feel like that is kind of how it's one of those situations where you might be sitting there and thinking, I know that I shouldn't be accepting that treatment. Like, I know that that's not cool. I know that I deserve more effort to be put in. So the Six of Pentacles could be somebody who's attempting to show that effort. Perhaps they don't really know how to show you the effort in the way that you need to see it. Or this could be vice versa, and you could be trying to, maybe there's somebody in your life who just seems to be in a bad place. Or this could be a partner who is perhaps in a bad place, and you're trying to give them the give and take and trying to, you know, but it's kind of like you're racking your brain trying to figure out what the heck they want because you don't really know what they want to be happy. Like, I don't know what you need to be happy. So it could be that too. It's not necessarily that one is bad and one is good. I just feel like there is an individual, there is somebody involved whose emotions are being pretty, like their emotions and their mind space is pretty tore up right now. It's taken up by a lot. And this Six of Pentacles is somebody, I feel like maybe somebody else trying to help alleviate some of that, or trying to show some affection or attention or some sort of give and take that will help the other person come out of this. For those of you who might be going through something where this is all you, it could just be that you've been in this disappointment feeling, and yes, there has been somebody who's betrayed or backstabbed you a little bit, or a lot of it. But then the Six of Pentacles could be you getting to a point where you have the upper hand too. So it could be that the tables turn a little bit, and maybe you're a bit more stable, or vice versa. Could be the other person, but somebody could be in a position of being able to provide something to the other person that may put them in a position of power a little bit. So it could be any one of those scenarios, but those are what I'm feeling from there. Then the next card that I have is the Ten of Wands. So again, you've got two tens in here. So we're at a completion of something that's been pretty tough. It's been pretty rough. I feel like with this Ten of Swords being such a huge mental stress and such a huge, like, stabbed in the back feeling, this Ten of Wands is somebody who is almost at the finish line. Like, you can see it, like, I'm almost there. I just have to get through this last little bit, couple more steps, a little bit farther. It's kind of that, it's the little train that, you know, the little engine that could. It's not easy. But since you can see the finish line, or you see where you're going, or you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're pushing through, because that's something that is, you're going to be able to complete it. The Ten of Wands is also representative of kind of carrying the weight of the world. So it could just be, you know, it could be financial, but it could also just be that everything's kind of culminating at once. And I know that for me, when I get into something like that, where it's like just one rolls right into the next and it culminates into this huge burden that I'm carrying, being able to push through to the finish line and see that light at the end of the tunnel is exactly what needs to happen. So I feel like this is a recognition of a light at the end of the tunnel. For a lot of you, it may just be this instant answer, I get it. It clicks finally. But I feel like you have to go through the burden portion of it to be able to get it to click. Whatever it is that needs to click for you at that point. So I feel like, and also for some of you, like I said, if somebody ends up with the upper hand, either financially or is able to offer something to the other party, I don't feel like it's free necessarily. I don't feel like it comes freely. I feel like it is going to place a bit of a burden on you. But I feel like it's also it's a burden that you recognize that you can handle, that you can carry. And then the next card that I have for you is the Eight of Cups. Now the Eight of Cups is, because it's cups that's dealing with emotions, and as you can see, he's got his back turned to these cups and he's facing out toward this full moon, and I think it's mountains. But he's not looking at the 8 cups. Now these are cups that he had invested in at one point. So they represent his emotions, and it is something that it's turning his back on something that is not necessarily easy to turn his back on, because he did have an investment in these cups at one point. But it is turning his back on it, recognizing that it's no longer serving him to remain with these 8 cups. So it could be you or somebody else who's recognizing that either a situation, a relationship, a dynamic within a relationship, there's something that's not serving you. And it could it could just have to do with this imbalance with this 6 of Pentacles, or perhaps, like I said, if somebody's treating you like you're lucky to have them in your life at all. If somebody's acting like, you're lucky to have them or something along those lines, and it's been something that's a difficult burden to carry, because it feels like maybe the things that you do are never good enough. It could be something like that. And then you'll recognize that that's drawing away from you. It's taking away from your strength. It's taking away from your truth. It's taking away from your ability to perform at your best within the relationship. And it doesn't necessarily need to be from somebody else. That could be something that you could be doing to yourself too. Especially with that 10 of Swords being directly over this card, it could be, especially with air sign, but Aquarius is really analytical. And so it could be that you are over-analyzing things, and it's getting to the point that you need to turn your back on that. You need to stop. Even though it does serve your purpose many times, and a lot of the times you're correct, I feel like in this instance, it's not helpful. It's just reliving this 10 of Swords over and over again. And it's not going to be easy to turn your back on this, because I feel like a lot of the time it's maybe your go-to, like a natural thought process. Or this, like I said, if you're turning your back on a relationship, it could be very difficult to turn your back on it, because it is something you've emotionally invested in, and it is something that brought something to you at one point. But I do feel like there's some kind of dynamic that needs to change. It could even just be turning your back on on the way that you have been operating and the way that you have been seeing things, to try and view it from a different perspective, or from the other person's perspective perhaps. But with that 8 of Cups, I do feel like it's moving away from something that isn't helpful to you anymore, even though it was perhaps at one point. And then I have the 2 of Cups. So I feel like there is a definite... It could be, if you're you could be dealing with a water sign here. Like I said, I have water and earth and fire and air. So, I mean, you're all represented here. But I feel like this 2 of Cups, for a lot of you, you are dealing with a water sign who you view as a soulmate, or who views you as a soulmate. The 2 of Cups, though, is also, it's the beginnings of action on this recognition of either an emotional bond or something that fulfills you. So it may be, you could even be turning your back on, like I said, if it's on a relationship, then you could be turning your back on a relationship to follow towards something that does really truly speak to your emotions, but you may not even know who that is yet. It could just be that you recognize that this is not serving you. It could just be that or it could be that the underlying current between you and your partner is this 2 of Cups, like there is a very strong emotional bond, but you recognize that this dynamic that's brought this pain and this imbalance needs to be changed in order to get back to this too. So it could be that it's on you, Aquarius, to take the action to do that. That could be what it's representing too. The Two of Cups, though, can represent a lot more than just love between people. It can also represent things that fulfill you emotionally, perhaps moving forward in, you know, position of work, or moving toward a dream, or following through with something that you know, like, you truly enjoy. So it could be that. But since this is a love reading, I do feel like this is indicative of perhaps the undercurrent is that there is a strong bond between you and this partner, but the dynamic needs to shift. Or for some of you, you could be literally walking away from a relationship recognizing that there's something out there that is more fulfilling for you, that there's somebody else out there who is going to be able to fulfill you emotionally. Because like I said, I feel like on this first row here, there is kind of that imbalance of one partner thinks that, it's almost like one partner perhaps thinks the other partner is lucky to have them in their lives. And cross watchers, I'm not picking on you. Please know that this can go either way. So this isn't about picking on cross watchers or picking on anybody saying that they are bad or wrong. It's not. This is a dynamic between more than one person. And because we're all very multifaceted, it could be that this dynamic exists without even both parties knowing about it. One party may feel these things and the other party has no idea. So don't hate on me. Okay, let's clarify this Five of Cups here for Aquarius. What is this Five of Cups about for the sign of Aquarius for love from August 19th through the 31st? Okay, so on top of this Five of Cups, you have the Devil. Could be a Capricorn that you're dealing with. The Devil, though, Devil shows up as something that takes away our individual right to choose. So I feel like it's something that feels forced on you. And since it's on top of this Five of Cups, it's almost like somebody else's issues are being forced on you to the point that they put you in a position where you are disappointed or you are emotionally burdened by it and it's making you sad. Could be that, or you could be dealing perhaps with somebody, either yourself or somebody else who's dealing with addictions, because the Devil card comes in. For me, the Devil is what takes away our right to make a decision by ourselves. So the way that I try to communicate it the most of the time is I like dealing with somebody who has an addiction. When you're dealing with somebody who has an addiction, you are speaking to two different people. There's the addiction that you speak to, and then there's the person. And the addiction during an act of addiction, it overrides that person. That person is like, you know, if you think about multiple personality disorder or something like that, that person's actual individual truth is pulled back because the addiction takes the forefront. And then the addiction will behave in ways that this person back here would never even dream of. But because it's not them and their addiction feels like it literally needs to fight to survive, it takes away their ability to make any decision because the addiction is making decisions for them. So it's almost like you have to separate the two entities. And I feel like with this Devil card on top of that Five of Cups, a lot of you may be dealing with somebody who it's like you're not dealing with them. It's like you're dealing with this addiction who is trying to serve an ulterior motive when you realize that that's not really the person that you want to be dealing with. Again, it could be also, like I said, it could be a Capricorn who's broken your heart. But I also feel like with this Devil card, it's definitely something that it's like it's been forced on you. So with it on top of that Five of Cups, I feel like it's either somebody's issues or your own issues are being forced on you to the point that it's affecting you emotionally. And when I say that your own issues are forced on you, it could be something that you maybe thought had been gone and buried, and it rears its ugly head and it upsets you, gets you emotional. So it could be either or, but I feel like it also could have to do with, like, because it's on top of Cups, it very well could have to do with somebody who has an alcohol problem as well. So but that card just comes in and kind of, it disrupts the equilibrium because somebody is not being able to act on their free will the way that they normally would. Please clarify this Ten of Swords here for the sign of Aquarius for August 19th through the 31st, 2017. Why is this Ten of Swords here? Okay. Okay, so on top of the Ten of Swords, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Again, it could be a Capricorn if you're dealing with an earth sign. Could be a Taurus or Virgo as well. But see, the Queen of Pentacles is kind of along the lines of a card that it's representative of a long-term relationship in my eyes. It's like representative of somebody who you could have seen long-term, or perhaps they see you long-term. And with it on top of this Ten of Swords, I feel like it's an utter destruction of that image. And with this Devil card here, too, on top of this Five of Cups, I feel like it is a recognition that perhaps somebody is not who you thought they were. Like you'd viewed them one way, but and perhaps that's why it hurts as bad as it does, because you're so shocked that it came from somebody who you thought you could trust your judgment, perhaps. Or this could be, like I said, vice versa. But the Queen of Pentacles is representative of either somebody who you viewed as incredibly practical and incredibly down-to-earth, and somebody that was a long-term stable partner or potential for a long-term stable partnership, or somebody that you even may have viewed as a husband or wife material. With it on top of the Ten of Swords, it could be you or it could be them who's feeling this, but I feel like it's an intense amount of pain because it comes from such a, with this, the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who's in her strength. She's a very strong individual. And for the Ten of Swords to come, it's almost like it just brings her to her knees. And like I said, it could be you or the other person, but I do feel like that's pretty substantial heartbreak right there, or a substantial betrayal. Please clarify this Six of Pentacles for the sign of Aquarius. Whoops. Well, one flipped over, so we'll see what they say. 1, 2, 3 of them. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Swords, and the Page of Pentacles here on the Six of Pentacles. So again, I do feel like with this Wheel of Fortune, I do feel like perhaps the shoe is ending up on the other foot at some point within this time period. And please know that tarot is notorious for time spans, so I know that we set these readings out in specific amount of times, but it can be before, it can be after. It's, a little bit wider range than that because it's pretty difficult to pinpoint the time since it's reading energy. So this is the general energy through this time, but this could be happening now or it could be happening in the near future. The Wheel of Fortune on top of the Six of Pentacles, though, I feel like since, like I said before, it's that give and take type of a card, the Six of Pentacles is, I feel like this is coming in to shift the power. So whoever has the power or thinks they have the power in the situation with this Five of Cups and the Devil and the Ten of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like that's going to shift. And then on top of that, we have the Eight of Swords. So again, that's indicative to me of somebody who's been in this position with the Ten of Swords and the Five of Cups, where they're heartbroken and very stuck in their head, stuck in their emotions, stuck in this feeling. But this wheel comes along, and I feel like it's going to be bringing them to a position, again, of being unstuck, of power, on top of that Six of Pentacles, where there's going to be something that they have to offer. And then with that Page of Pentacles, clarifying that as well, again, I feel like it's this, somebody is going to have their sights set on where they're going now that this Wheel of Fortune has come around. And this is a steady, forward-moving energy. It's not very fast, but it's a steady, stable energy. One thing with these pages, though, of Pentacles, that they can get to the point where they're so focused on a goal, they kind of get tunnel vision and become almost obsessive about it. So that can also have them feeling trapped. But I do feel like there's going to be a shift with this Wheel of Fortune coming in. And I do feel like it has to do with whoever has been through this Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords. It's almost like that paradigm, that power shift is going to bring them into a position where they're feeling more stable, where they feel like they have at least some control. Please clarify this Ten of Wands here for Aquarius for August 19th through the 31st, 2017. Why is this Ten of Wands here? Please clarify this 10. There we go, it flipped over, so we're going to grab it. Yeah, Ten of Swords on top of the Ten of Wands. So there is definitely something. There is something coming to an end that's been a huge burden and a huge stress. But I do feel like it's coming to an end. It may be disappointing as it happens. It's disappointing and it feels very thrust upon you or the other person, I feel like. But with these two tens right on top of each other, this 10 of Swords and this 10 of Wands, it's like that huge amount of stress and the amount of anxiety is almost at the end. Like you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's not easy. I mean, by no means do these feelings just disappear because of this shift, perhaps, with the Wheel of Fortune. But I feel like you will recognize that it's coming to an end here soon. Please clarify this 8 of Cups for the sign of Aquarius for August 19th through the 31st, 2017. What is this 8 of Cups about here? Please clarify this 8 of Cups for the sign of Aquarius for August 19th through the 31st, 2017 for love. Why is this 8 of Cups here? Please, there we go. Okay, so on top of the 8 of Cups, we have the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands is, I feel like in this particular scenario, it's representing competition. It could be that you maybe have been, like I said, if somebody's taken on this attitude of you know, deigning to spend their time with you, it could be that you have been dealing with a scenario where they're either making you perceive that there's a bunch of competition, or you recognize that there is competition, but you're turning your back on that because you don't need to be jumping through these hoops anymore. You certainly don't need to be jumping through these hoops for anybody but yourself. And I feel like this is also petty arguments and bickering and antagonizing type of energy, but it can also be almost like sport among peers. So it's like, I feel like it's fighting for something. Like there is a specific reason. This can also be drama though too. So it could be that you're turning your back on a situation that's been a lot of drama and a lot of stress and has required you to carry a very heavy burden. But I also feel like it could be too turning your back, like I said, on a situation that has been a heavy burden and very stressful because there is this competition going on. Or like you feel like you can't ever, like you never feel like you're on a level playing ground with each other. Perhaps, like I said, it's just been the dynamic recently, but I feel like this recognition that this has to stop. It's almost like, okay, I just can't keep doing that. That needs to stop. Please clarify this 2 of Cups for the sign of Aquarius for love from August 19th through the 31st, 2017. What is this 2 of Cups here for? Please clarify this 2 of Cups. There we go. A 7 of Wands on top of the 2 of Cups. So I feel like you could be dealing with a fire sign. It could be an Aries, Sag, or Leo. But I feel like with these the 5 of Wands and the 7 of Wands are both very unstable type of energies. But with the 5 of Wands on top of this 8 of Cups, it's you turning your back on this competition or this conflict. And then the 7 of Wands clarifying this 2 of Cups, it's almost like standing up for, it's either, okay, if you're walking away from the situation, recognizing that there's something better and more emotionally fulfilling for you, the 7 of Wands represents you defending that right. Like you know that you are deserving of better than what has been happening. And so that's you defending that, standing up for yourself there. And like I said, it could be you or the other person, but this is somebody standing up for themselves, that they know that they deserve this 2 of Cups. If that's not the scenario, it could be too, it could be that you recognize, like I said, that there's a dynamic that needs to change in the relationship perhaps, but you recognize that there's a very strong bond, so you're standing up for that bond regardless of the amount of pain and stress and, you know, antics that may have been going on, because it's standing up for the bond that underlies it all. There may be a recognition that things need to change, and they do, and I feel like you take the action to change them. But it doesn't necessarily mean moving away from the relationship per se, because the relationship itself may be very stable. This can be outside influences or factors coming into play. Even with this the Queen of Pentacles on top of the Ten of Swords up here, somebody could be losing a job too. And that could be where this burden is coming from. But I do feel like there's a shift, like I said, in this power, and there will be a point where somebody's taking a stance to either defend their right to find this Two of Cups type bond, this strong emotional bond, or to defend the emotional bond itself. Not recognizing that, you know, the entire relationship isn't necessarily needing to be removed. It's just some elements of the dynamic. So I feel like that is, that's also what it's saying for others of you. So please let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll speak with you soon.